Ah, such a beautiful day in Hisui. The Pokemon are out, the space-time rifts are ripping apart reality. Things are perfect. What's that, Gardevoir? What did you find? Fighting type? What? Wait, don't touch that! No! Welcome back, everyone, to part 3 of my Gardevoir Redesign Challenge series. If you've already seen the first couple of iterations, well done and thanks for coming back. But for those new to this, well, too bad, I guess. Just kidding. Here's the deal. My mission is to create a redesign of Gardevoir for each of the 18 Pokemon types, but at the same time do so in a unique way, such as using an unusual color or adding an underrepresented concept for each type. Basically, we're gonna try and actually use some brainpower in these designs and not just phone it in. But enough idle talk. Let's get right into number 7. Fighting type. Now, if you recall the previous part, I described how the Ice-type Gardevoir was one of 2 designs that really kicked off this entire series. Well, this type, Fighting type, would be the second of those 2. Let's get right into the details. I first started by thinking about what I should avoid including, and when I initially heard the word fighting, I immediately questioned, well, what are they fighting with, exactly? I'm pretty sure Game Freak has covered every kind of boxing and martial arts ever created, so we're gonna have to find an attack medium other than waving limbs around. For colors, I didn't really have to avoid anything. The Fighting type gives me pretty free range when it comes to that kind of thing. Inspiration struck right away, and I had the vision of a samurai Pokemon. The ancient shogunate is quite underrepresented by Pokemon, and the daisho used by samurai gives me a very unique offense, so in my book, it worked out just fine. But for some reason, this line felt incomplete. It was missing something. Having a samurai warrior Pokemon was great, don't get me wrong. But for female Gardevoir, it didn't really seem to connect that well. Yes, I know women were allowed to be samurai, but they needed something else in addition to that better represented women from that era. Enter, once again, the split evolution. You can achieve the samurai version with both male and female Gardevoir, but this alternative could only be achieved by females holding a Dawn Stone. And for those that are Pokemon savvy, you may recognize that this is the same criteria for achieving Gallade, just flip-flopped around. Our variant female Gardevoir would be heavily based on geisha entertainers of ancient Japan, but with a deadly twist. Their trusty paper fans have turned into razor-sharp blades. Of course, they still have their classic makeup patterns and elegant kimono, but to be honest, combined with the deadly fans, this creature looks super shifty. Like, I would not even trust them to fetch the mail. Now, after all of that, please help me welcome Gardevoir, the Bushido Pokemon. And of course, the latter, but certainly not lesser, Gardevoir, the female geisha Pokemon. Next in line, we have number 8. Poison type. Let's start with some characteristics to avoid. Poison type Pokemon are very easy to pick apart with their weaknesses. They seem to take one of 2 forms. Either they're a naturally occurring venomous animal or toxic plant, or they're an indistinguishable blob of goop. The colors we have to avoid are mainly purple and green, but just having those two is kind of easy, so we shouldn't have too much trouble on this one. After putting my massive brain to work, I came up with the idea of a radioactive nuclear power plant sort of Gardevoir. No poison type really leans into the biohazard that is nuclear energy, besides maybe wheezing, so I went with that. We're gonna keep it simple with this design. No crazy backstory, no research, no convoluted explanation, just some good, simple Gardevoir fun. In order to display our theme, I looked to include as many physical and tangible elements of radioactivity as possible. The two main ones being the gas mask and the hazmat suit. I incorporated the gas mask as part of the face and hair, creating a helmet of sorts, and I replaced the dress with an orange hazmat jumper. For a couple more details, I replaced the chest spike with a biohazard symbol, and inserted some exhaust chimneys onto their arm to really help sell the concept. And as we quickly finish up here, please lend a hand to Gardevoir, the radioactive Pokemon. I should hope that by part 3, you all have learned how to spot a signature ability. Now, Mutation, the exclusive ability of Poisonivore, is described as the following. Every time the Pokemon with this ability is struck with a physical attack, it causes a sudden mutation on the attacking Pokemon, changing their ability into a random new one. This mutation ability has the potential to be extremely broken in competitive play, as a good majority of Pokemon use their specific abilities to be competitively viable. But this is balanced by low base stats, and the fact that special attacks don't trigger the mutation effect, giving it some easy counterplay. After that, we dig into number 7. After that, we dig into number 9. Ground type. I feel like ground type is one of the most easily forgotten Pokemon types. You naturally think that since rock type is already a thing, and so is grass type, that you wouldn't need something that's basically just like a mix of both, but it exists, I guess. It's just very unassuming is all, and the same, unfortunately, can be said about ground type designs.
Oh brother, this guy stinks!
It might be a hot take, I know, but when I see a ground type Pokemon, I usually am like, okay, yeah, I guess I can see that, but rarely am I particularly impressed with the concept. What that means for me, though, is that I really have to try and make sure people can tell that it's distinctly a ground type and nothing else, while still being creative enough to fit the challenge requirements. I often find that when I go with my gut and commit to my first decision, I'll get the best results with whatever I'm doing. And in this case, that shows to be no different. My first idea when thinking up ground type designs was to compose a Gardevoir based on sand, and those that live on the sand.
I don't like sand.
I based most of my elements heavily on traditional Arabic and nomadic outfits that really transport you to the boundless sands where these people roam. Now to get into actual design elements. We're going to leave the body quite plain, making it into an off-white robe commonly worn by Arab people. The hair on Gardevoir gets transformed into a keffiyeh of sorts, and we put on a sash of the same color, nearly completing the look. I added in some remotely Egyptian characteristics as well, with the eye markings and the golden neck piece, but the final addition of a trusty walking staff really ties it all together and completes the look of a hardened desert wanderer. that, we give our welcome to Gardevoir, the Dune Pokemon. Would you believe that we just reached the halfway point? It's so incredible to see how quick we're progressing, and I'm really grateful to have the opportunity to share this journey with you all. Drop a like on the video if you enjoyed, and let me know in the comments which of these designs you liked the most or if there's something I missed. If you really extra enjoyed and want to see more, consider subscribing so you're sure to catch the next batch fresh out of the oven. Thanks again, and I'll see you all around.